Yes, indeed. I actually found my human design when I was, in all honesty, like very, very deep postpartum depression. And it was so pivotal for me, and just not only validating everything I've ever felt in my life, but also just pulling me out of that, and also support, allowing me to understand how my energy works so I can be there for myself, but also show up for my child. So that's it. That's one of like the biggest reasons for me why I started my company, and really wanted to share the message of human design with everyone, because it's impacted me in so many ways, helped me in so many ways. So I'm just so excited to share this all with you, and teach you more about human design. So by a show of hands, if everybody can find the little hand, how many people are familiar with human design, at least like know what their basic energy type is, or who are, yes, Jen. All right. Shelley, yes. Awesome. Okay. Awesome to see. Good. So I just want to get a read of the room so I know kind of where to dive in, where to kind of pull back. And as we go into everything today, I really want you guys to know this is an open forum where I want to be available and answer any questions that you really have. So if you have questions as you're going through, feel free to type them in the chat. We'll stop a couple times as we go, and then we can certainly dive into those particular questions. So show of hands again, how many people have their human design chart? Hopefully everybody. Cool. All right. Awesome. So
I actually do not.
You do not? No worries.
Not.
Okay, well, that's why I asked, because I want everybody to try to get their human design chart before. So let me pull up a link real quick. So in case you do not have your human design chart yet, I will share a link with you all here so you can download it yourselves through my website here. And I can also share with you real quick as well how to do that. So just bear with me as I present that screen. All right. So with the link here, you'll go to your the Abundantly You website. Just input your name, date of birth, month of birth, year of birth, and the time of birth. I definitely recommend try to get as close as you can to the time of birth, because that really helps with when we get into the human design variables, which give you insights into what is called your potential health system, which are ways that you can best digest information, ways you can best thrive in your energy in a particular environment. So definitely recommend trying to have the correct birth time and then the place of birth. So once you get that all in there, you'll be able to pull up your chart on my website. And then you can easily, you'll see all the details of it here. But for the purposes of today, since this is more of a foundational beginning, I recommend downloading the PDF, and we're going to dive into really the details that you see here. So I'll quickly go over kind of what each of this means. And then when we dive into the slides, I'll go into it a little bit more and really talk about each of these. So what you see here is the human design body graph chart. It might look similar to those of you, if you've ever studied, say, the chakras or the Kabbalah or the I Ching, any of that, they all kind of fall into this chart here. So I'll dive in later to what the different energy centers are and how they all work. But basically, how your energy centers map determine what your energy type is. So there are 5 different energy types. Your energy type is your main character energy. That's how you magnetize energy to others around you and how your energy operates in this lifetime. Based on what your energy type is, you have a signature and a not self feeling. And really, these are feelings based on how your energy type works. So your energy type is is not what we feel in the monkey mind. It's our bodies. It's our dropping into our bodies. And it's, you have signature feelings based off of what your energy type is, of when something is right for you in your body. So for a manifester, when something's right for you in your body, you feel peace, versus something that's not right for you or something that's out of alignment for you, you're going to have that, say, inner fire or inner anger. Now, based off of, again, what your energy type is, you also have a strategy. So the strategy is really how to work with your energy to magnetize what you want around you and things around you to your energy field. And for a manifestor, it's to inform. I know we'll go over all of them for all the different energy types, but that's just high level overview for manifestor. And then for informing, or say for a generator or manifesting generator, that initial kind of waiting to respond, you need to think of what your inner authority is. So your inner authority, there's several different inner authorities. And really the inner authority is how you navigate that decision-making process. And last is your profile. So this is like kind of like your main character energy. And your energy types, your definition is how all of your different energy channels are connected. And last but not least is your incarnation cross, which is really kind of the theme and life purpose that you will constantly see throughout your lifetime. So again, I know this is a lot to start off when you're just looking at this chart and you're seeing all of these numbers, these signs, you're like, what am I looking at here? But I'm going to dive into all of this with you a little bit more once we get into the slides here. But just wanted to give that kind of high level overview before I dive into the slides. Any questions? Okay. All right. I'm going to hop over to our slides here. All right, and everybody can see the first slide. Terrific. Okay, so human design. Let's start from the top. What is human design? Human design is the energetic blueprint that your soul chose for you in this lifetime. So it's how your energy operates, and it's essentially the science of differentiation and how we're really all different. We all have our own very unique energetic blueprints, and we have amazing gifts that we have been given in this lifetime. And when you unlock and learn your human design, I like to say human design is a journey. It's like you are an onion. There are layers and layers and layers and pieces of you and how you operate, how your energy operates. And when you unlock these pieces and get to understand how to navigate your energy, it can really allow you to really unlock your potential in this life, align with your theme in this life, and unlock the abundance that you're inherently worthy of. So I know this may sound a little woo-woo, a little out there for those of you who are new to it or aren't familiar with it, but I've experienced it myself. I've seen many others experience it with human design, that it really is a game changer when you get to understand your energy and start practicing with working with how your energy type works. We'll dive into the history of human design. So human design was a combination of ancient and modern sciences. What you see over here is the mandala. So this is an even more in-depth chart than, say, your traditional body graph chart, but it encompasses deeper pieces of all of the layers that come into the different fields of study that are part of human design. The wisdom of human design was a channeled wisdom in 1987 by Ra Uru. I've actually listened to his, he is no longer with us at this time. He's since passed, but I've actually listened to his recollection of when he channeled this wisdom, what had happened. And it is a really interesting listen. You can find it on YouTube. If anybody's interested, feel free to email me. I'll share it with you. But really, what your human design is, it pulls in the wisdoms from the Chinese I Ching, Western astrology, the Hindu chakra system, the Kabbalah tree of life, genetics, quantum mechanics, astronomy, and biochemistry. So I know that's a lot of different energies, a lot of different schools of thought, but it really marries all of those coming in together to map out your energetic blueprint. I'm drawing here. Didn't even know how to do that. All right. So we're going to dive into the 5 energy types. So each energy type, your energy type is determined when you are born, and it's how you're recommended to really work with your energy to navigate life. So we have the manifestors, which are the initiators, the innovators. They're about 9% of the population. They're really here to impact others, inspire others to make change, start something new. I myself am a manifestor, so I hope I can impact, change, and empower you all to look at human design today. I know we also have our amazing generators. So they are the creators, the builders. They're about 37% of the population, and they're here to use their ample creative energy to work on and build what they love. They are thriving best in when you do what you love. And we also have our manifesting generators, which are our multifaceted, multi-talented builders, which are a hybrid of the manifestors and the generators. And they're about 33% of the population. So they're here to inspire others to use their ample energy to create and build new things, but also do it in a very diverse, varied fashion. And because they are that combination of the manifestor, the manifesting and the generator, they not only have like the same strategy as the generator to start, but they have the ability to work in the strategy in ways that manifestors do as well. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So I know Shelley is a generator and Isla is a manifesting generator. And our projectors are really our guides, our visionaries. So they're about 20% of the population. And they're here to guide our energy towards more efficiency and authenticity in our life. And last but not least, the most rare of all the types are the reflectors. So they're the discerners, they're evaluators, they're about 1% of the population. And they're really here to empathetically feel the people around them and gauge the overall well-being of an environment. So if you know a reflector, know they're very unique and very special. I know of a few, but not very many. All right. So you may be familiar with auras and kind of how auras operate, or heard of auras before, seen like aura picture takings and things of that nature. But we all have this energetic field around us. And based off of what our energy type is, our auras really kind of have this kind of magnetic field around us that has a specific vibe, for lack of a better word. And these are just based off of what the energy type is, typically how the aura really is magnetizing out to those around you. So the manifestors, they're closed and impactful. The generators are open and enveloping. Mani-gens are the open, enveloping, and impactful. Projectors are penetrating and focused, and the reflectors are sampling and resistant. And I like to note this and how the auras of our energy types work is because when we understand kind of like how our energies are, say, rubbing up against each other, feeling each other, it is how we then drop into what will come next, which is our strategy. And that's how to work with our energy type. Oh, Margot, I see you had an hand raised. Do you have a question? You're all good. Okay. No worries. Just want to double check. But yeah, so strategy is based off of how your energy type what your energy type is. The strategy is the practice of how to operate in alignment with what your energy type is with ease. So for manifestors, because we have kind of that, like that closed aura, we have to inform. We have to talk to people and tell people kind of how we're feeling to be able to pull people in and really get people on the same page of us. Because when people first meet us, they might not know what to because we have that closed aura, they might not know what to really make of us. So as a manifestor, if you're a manifestor, inform. You can never inform too much. Generators, wait to respond. So if you're a generator, you might hear this and you're like, wait, what do you mean wait? Like how do I just stop and wait to see, like, I gotta go, especially like I know a lot of us here on the call, we're in New Jersey, like we don't have time to sit and like wait around. Like we're going. So, but wait to respond is really, you're gonna get a say or nuh-uh gut feeling in your body if something's for you or something's not for you. And when you come upon that thing, say it's a decision to have a certain type of cookie. You want a chocolate chip cookie or an oatmeal cookie. You're going to get that gut or with that. So it's really dropping into your body, listening into your gut of what's in front of you right now. How do you feel about it? And can you listen? And if you don't get that, it's not for you right now. So that's the generator. The manifesting generator is a combination. So you're initially wait to respond like the generator. So you ask that question to yourself, what's in front of me right now? How do I feel about it? How do I listen to it? And then as you have that manifesting side of you, you have the ability to magnetize more of that around you. And you do that by, once you make that decision of that you inform. So it's a combination of waiting to respond, and then informing. The projectors are there to wait for the invitation. So I've connected with many projectors, many who I actually learned a lot of human design from. Some of my favorite human design gurus that are projectors. And they've shared a lot about how waiting for that energetic invitation before you share your insight is a game changer once you start doing that. Because they have, say, that penetrating aura. If you don't get that invitation first, people might be put off if it's something that they're not interested in hearing. So really waiting for that invitation before sharing your insight or wisdom to be welcomed is what's really recommended for the projectors. And know that you don't have to wait to do something. So say like you have a passion, something fascinates you. You don't have to wait for that invitation to do it. You go out, you do that thing, you follow that passion, and you're that lighthouse as a projector where things will ultimately magnetize to you. And when the time is right, you will get that invitation. And boy, will you have a wealth of knowledge to share with that person who's ready for it. And then last but not least, are reflectors here. So they have to wait a 28-day lunar cycle for their system to kind of reflect, recharge, and just understand how to go about working with their energy. So we'll get to this when we show you the different energy centers, but reflectors, they have completely open energy centers, which means they're constantly taking in energy from the environment around them. And that allows them to mirror their energy of others, energy of the cosmos. And since they're constantly taking in that energy of others, it takes them a lot longer than, say, the average person to come to clarity and finding a decision. So really, they follow the lunar cycle. They follow the moon cycle. All right. Now, before I jump real quick to the alignment cues, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of different layers of human design. And really, to start practicing and understanding your human design and how your energy works, the number one way to do it And no matter what layer you learn and you unlock in your human design, it's starting with using your strategy. So it's starting with informing. It's starting with waiting for that invitation. It's starting with waiting to respond. It's magnetizing the energy around you based off of your particular strategy. And that's going to allow you to start to pull in the energy of what you are looking for in this lifetime. Now, as you start to pull in that energy and you start to pull in things around you, there are some signposts of what you feel in your body when something's right for you or something's not right for you based off of what your energy type is. So I know I mentioned earlier, like the manifester piece is how we feel when we are in alignment or working and doing what feels right for us, versus if like something's not right for us, we're going to feel angry. We get mad. So it's creating awareness around when you do get those feelings, and taking a step back and like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do differently that would make me feel peace? Or what can I do differently that would make me feel, if I'm a generator, satisfaction versus frustration? So these are definitely signposts and feelings that you get in your body as you're doing things that you might notice. And I would welcome you to start to bring awareness when you start to feel any of those not self themes to what you're doing when you're feeling that not self theme, because that's a way to kind of drop in and see, okay, is this thing I'm doing right now, like, is this something I really need to do? Is this something that's meant for me? Or is this something I could somehow like write off my list so I can make room for things that are more meant for me, that I can align with my signature feeling of peace, success, satisfaction, or surprise? All right, so we're going to dive in now a little bit to the body graph chart again. And I know we looked at it earlier, but I'm going to share with you more details of what you're viewing here. And this leads to the next piece of working with your energy type. So when you work with your energy type, you want to work with your strategy and then your inner authority. And your inner authority is determined by how your energy centers are defined. So in human design, there's 9 different energy centers. Those of you who might be familiar with, say, yoga or the chakra systems, know there's, I think, 7 different chakras. But in human design and just in general, we've actually evolved to have 9 different energy centers, which has come over the past couple hundred years where we've evolved. So we have our root energy center down here at the base, our sacral energy center. This is our like creative energy here. The root pressure is like our instincts or survival. Our spleen is also where we say hold our fears. So the solar plexus and the spleen are really 2 energy centers that were, say, originally 1 chakra, but have evolved over time as we've evolved as humans. So the spleen is like the instincts, your survival instincts. And the solar plexus is your emotional feelings and your emotional body. The will and the G center also are essentially where your heart chakra is. But they're somewhat divided. So your will is like your ego. And then your G center is your sense of love, sense of direction in life. And then your throat chakra is still the same. We also have the Ajna chakra. So that's really how you see. And your head chakra is your knowing, your inner knowing. So when you look at your human design chart, if it's colored in, that means it's defined. And what that means is you have consistent energy in that energy center. And for you to ultimately go to what we're going to share next is your inner authority, it's going to be a defined energy center. So that means you have consistent energy there. You have this guiding light that people look to you as, say, you have a defined head center, that you have this inner knowing about things. Or say you have a defined Ajna center, you have a defined way of really seeing things through life. One thing I note about our energy types, so we have those who are sacral beings and non-sacral beings. So basically what that means is if your sacral energy center is defined, you are either a generator or a manifesting generator. And that means you have consistent creative life force energy that's constantly flowing through you. If you are undefined, which it will be white in your human design chart, that means you do not have consistent energy there, and that you are taking in energy from what's around you. So any area in your human design chart that the center is white, that is taking in energy from what's around you. So those are areas where we can really have some of our greatest conditioning, and where we can be doing things that might not truly be in alignment for us because an outside energy is pulling us towards that thing. So we'll dive into energetic conditioning a little bit later, but it's something to just start to be mindful of as you look into your different energy centers and how they might be taking in conditioning or not. So for example, my will center is undefined, which means I don't have a consistent, say, willpower every day to get up and work out. Like, that's just not something that's always for me. But somebody who has a defined will center might always want to wake up every day and get up, like have that workout routine and have that consistent workout routine. So that's like an example of working with the will center. One more example real quick of working with the root center. I know I'm sure a lot of busy moms out there on the call. So your root center a lot of times is your pressure center. So where you might be taking pressure from outside forces, especially if it's undefined. So say, for example, you have an undefined root center. You walk into your home after a long, busy day of work, just got your kids from school. There's a laundry basket sitting there full of laundry, ready to be folded, and your root center is undefined. The way you react to that with an undefined root center, you got to go do that laundry right now. You can't wait. You have to get that laundry folded. You feel like that urge, that energy to go fold that laundry. Versus somebody who has a defined root center can walk past that and say, I'll get to it later. So this is just some examples of different ways that your energy might be influenced, whether something's defined or undefined. But knowing that just because that laundry's there, do you have energy for that right now? That's your sign to use your strategy so say you're a generator, you see that laundry there, your root center is undefined. Does that make you feel frustrated, or is it going to give you satisfaction to do that laundry right now? So like dropping into using your strategy and seeing if it's the right time to do that particular thing. And then I know we just went over all the energy centers, but just real quickly so you guys are aware. This is, say, level 2 layer of human design that if you do want to dive into are the channels. So these channels are basically main character energetic gifts that you have that connect different energy centers. And your gifts are all these numbers you see here on the side. They are part of the I Ching 64 number hexagrams. So each gift that you see here, if it aligns with an energy center, and you'll see a little circle here around it. And it also aligns with a celestial sign too. So that's basically how that gift that you have shows up. So everybody has unique gifts in this lifetime. And every gift has, say, a shadow expression, but also a highest expression, a city expression, and then a gift expression. They call them gates in human design. I like to call them gifts because I feel once you really dive into them and you learn about them, you can be aware of, say, the shadow frequency of it and do some shadow work yourself, and then work to align with the gift side of it. If you are that deep into learning your human design, again, by diving into your gifts is something I recommend doing after you learn and are starting to work with your strategy and authority, which we're going to get to next, just because it is such a deep layer of the human design, and really you want to understand how the basics of your energy type is working and already be navigating life in that way first. But if you do want to look into the gates, Gene Keys by Richard Rudd is the book. I can share that with you guys after. So inner authority, we're going to dive back to, let's just step
I have
back.
a question.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. And I don't know if we're going to address this later. If so, fine. What are the different colors of the, say of the spleen root? You spoke about ones that didn't have a color, that were kind of negative, but what do the different colors mean?
Yeah, so the different colors it's just a way of just defining what the different center is. It doesn't necessarily, like, I'd have to pull up here. So like the sacral center we see here is orange versus like the solar plexus we see here is yellow. So
Right.
The different colors that you see, just note that it is defined. If you see white, then it means that it's undefined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions before we jump to inner authority? Cool. Okay. So we've learned about our energy types, and we've learned about what all the different energy centers are. And we now know, okay, based on what my energy type is, this is my strategy to go about life. But how do I make decisions? So your inner authority is the process by which your energy is designed to make decisions. So if you have a defined defined solar plexus, so that yellow energy center, you're going to have an emotional inner authority. And this is about more than 50% of the population has emotional authorities. And the leading question with an emotional authority is, does this decision make me happy? And anybody who has an emotional authority has an emotional wave. I have an emotional authority, so I can share this with you. I know Shelley has one as well too. And we have to come to having an emotional authority. You have to come to a neutral place if you're making a decision, like especially a big decision, before you know if that's the right decision for you. And even if you come to that neutral place, you may never be 100% sure. As long as you're like at least say 80% sure, that's ideal. So you really gotta say, it's like, I know it's hard and say, for example, the New Jersey housing market, to ride an emotional wave if you want to buy a house or not, because you gotta move fast. But really, for an emotional being, you should have time to process that. You got to process the high, process the low, and give yourself at least like 24 hours to a week for like a big decision, say like buying a house, or say like making a career change, things of that nature. So really giving yourself time to process and go through the emotions of what that big decision looks like. So I know, and it's not necessarily always the traditional way, especially if you're like buying something and in a high pressure sales situation that you want to decide, we want to make that decision right there. But really honoring your energy is honoring your decision timeline and making that decision when you do feel neutral and happy about it and at least 80% sure about it. Yes, Isla.
So Shelley and I did the partner.
Yes, this is such a great part to bring up. I'm glad you are.
So what we found is our defined and undefined really complement each other. So a lot of the channels are filled in. So that gave us a lot of, stamina and belief in ourselves to make decisions. And then with this, I'm the sacral. So it helped me understand that we need to make a business decision. I'm going to know instantly how I want to do something. And I have to now, I can like give Shelley time. So it's helped our communication in that aspect, because I'm like, I'm going to do this. Do you want to come? And then she'll like 3 days later be like, yes. But also the flip side of that is both of our head centers are undefined. So we'll like also take a meeting where there's like a sales pitch at the end, and they can be very convincing to us in the meeting. And we're like, yeah, we're like both wrapped up in it. And then we like pause for a little bit and we're like regroup and we're like, I actually really didn't like that. And she's like, yeah, me neither. So like, those are the two things I think we felt like between the decision time, but then also the undefined, we know where like trappings could be.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
I'm
much.
so glad you shared that. Yeah, and really it's not easy to make like, especially I know I'm speaking from an emotional standpoint, but when we are constantly being influxed with different things coming around us, decisions to make all the time. And so really, once you learn what your inner authority is, and just starting with this leading question here, I know I didn't go over every single one of them, but I can go over real quick, and asking yourself this leading question and giving yourself the grace to make that decision in that time frame. So anybody who has like the ego projected, ego manifested, these are both unique to the projector and manifestor energy type. The self projected is unique to the projector energy type, and the self projected with a G center, which is a unique one, they have to speak it out loud to know if that decision is going to bring them towards that life direction. So yeah, I mean, take time to check these out. I'll also share this information after, but know, like, as you start to work with your human design, the key is following your strategy, following your authority. So your inner authority is really this decision-making guide here, and seeing how that decision makes you feel in your body. All right. Now, profile lines. I like talking about this because it's kind of, a lot of people resonate with these. It's a lot of times their main, say, quote unquote, main character energies that they might feel. And really, these are derived by what's your astrological sun signs and how your gifts show up in those astrological sun signs. So you have two profile lines. Your first line is one of these lines here. And then that's the line that you typically are able to learn best from. So that's the way you navigate learning. So for example, Shelley, she is a line 1 and a line 3. So she's a researcher and explorer. So really the way she learns best is kind of researching things, and the way she teaches is exploring. Versus, I know we have all these different 6 lines here, and they show up in your profiles in many different ways, but these are the main character energies that you have. So you'll see in your human design charts, if you downloaded that chart there, you'll see what yours is. So we have the researcher, the introvert, the hermit. So there's 2 sides. So the 2 lines, the way your profiles work is really, it's all about a balance. It's a yin and a yang balance. So when you feel like, say, for your profile lines are a 2-4, you're the introvert, but you're also a connector at the same time. How do you balance that? Well, that's dropping into your body, using your strategy and authority, and thinking about, okay, do I feel like being out and connecting with other people right now? Or do I feel like kind of hermiting and like doing my own thing, like having myself a nice bath, watching a TV show, something like that? So using your strategy and authority to connect with, say, where your energy is, whether it's the introvert side of you or the connector side of you, for example. So we have these 2 sides of us that really balance out and you'll see in your human design chart what your two lines are, and really dropping into your body and thinking what feels best for you, whether you want to embody, say, that connector side of it or illuminator side of it, whatever that one side is versus the other side, and using your strategy and authority for it. The first line you see is your how you learn, and the second line you see is really how you teach best. So I've found this really helpful for me. Me, for example, my lines are a line 4 and a line 6. So that's like the connector, the kind of networker, and then the role model. So the role model is that anybody who has a line 6 in their profile, it's a unique line, because there's essentially 3 stages of the way the line 6 operates in this lifetime, where and I don't know how many of you are familiar with astrology, but there's a lot of times 3 phases in your life of astrology as well too. And when you're 20 and younger, this line 6 of a role model old soul does not really exist. You are more of a line 3, an explorer, versus as you come into, say, I think it's your Saturn return, or when you turn 50, that's when you start to really embody more of the line 6 role model old soul side of, say, that line 6 character energy. So anybody interested in learning more about these, there's a lot of information
This call will be recorded.
that we
This
can
call is no
check
longer
out.
being recorded.
Ooh. Give me 1 second. Gonna mute that. Okay. All right. Now we're going to dive into, I know, energetic conditioning. So I know we talked about a little bit how we're constantly being influxed by different energies around us. And we have, since we came out the womb, we've been conditioned in many ways for how we're supposed to operate in life, operate in society. But we're all built uniquely different, the way our energy types work. And it's really important for you to honor yourself and honor your energy to really help you be the best version of yourself from a health perspective. Not just health, but just feeling good internally, mentally, physically, all the above. And when we have this energetic conditioning, say, societal norms, or familial ways of things that we've been brought up on, things that we have to do because that's just what our family does. It really takes away from what your soul has chosen for you in this lifetime. So I say this as some examples. So for a lot of the non-sacral beings, so the manifestors, the projectors, the reflectors, they do not have consistent energy in their day-to-day life. So your generators, your manifesting generators, they wake up in the morning, they're almost ready to go, like every single day, like ready to go. Especially if they're doing with what they love, they are ready to go when they wake up in the morning. Manifestors, projectors, reflectors, they're not ready to wake up every day. They're ready to sometimes just stay in bed all day. And what's challenging is in the society we live, a lot of us might have been brought up with the expectation is got to go get a corporate job, got to go do that 9-to-5 job, got to go through the motions, got to make that particular job work for you. And they don't care what your energy type is, or if you feel tired to it or you don't feel tired to it. So really honoring your energy type and finding a way to navigate life where you can honor your energy type allows you to find greater fulfillment in life, find greater fulfillment in yourself, and really just feeling better about yourself physically, mentally, in the mind, body, spirit connection. So there are several different types of energetic conditioning that some energy types are more susceptible to than others. Our manifestors may have fear of being controlled or misunderstood, or because they don't have that consistent sacral energy, fear of being looked at as lazy because they do need to take breaks. Or I know we have our generators here that if by following what they love, which is really what they're here to do, and our generators and our manifesting generators are here to follow and do what they love in this lifetime. They might have like some conditioning that like, if I do what I love, then that makes me selfish. Like I feel like I'm not letting my light shine. So just thinking of, because too, I know a lot of times generators are manifesting. I've heard so many generators, amazing people that I've connected with, that they learn their human design as a generator and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a generator. You should feel excited about being a generator, because a lot of times there's this conditioning because they're like a builder, quote unquote, with the traditional human design language, that they're not a leader, but they are very much leaders. When they follow their passions, they are leaders, and they are driving the way in cutting edge ways for everybody else. So our projectors, some things that they might have conditioning around because they're supposed to be, say, waiting for that invitation is believing that they have to force things or they never will happen, versus trusting that if they follow their light and their passions, that's what ultimately will connect them with everything that they're meant for. They've also might get the lazy connotation, or might get the energetic conditioning of, say, feeling bossy or know-it-all, because they have such that penetrating aura. When they have that wisdom, they have that guideship, but they're supposed to have that, but they might have that underlying feeling of energetic conditioning just based off of how they've operated in their life. And then last but not least, our reflectors is they might have felt they've been too sensitive. So know that we all have conditioning, and they say once you start to learn your human design, work with your human design, and tap into getting rid of your conditioning, it takes on average of 7 years. So give yourself grace. Human design is like I like to say, it's a journey. It's a way for you to explore and learn more about yourself. And it takes time for you to really drop in and release things that no longer serve you. But once you learn more about yourself, about your human design, and the beautiful person that you really are, and that unique gifts that you have to share with this lifetime, you will magnetize so much around you, so many amazing things. So today, these are some benefits I want to share with you about what you can do as you start to work with your strategy and authority and align with your human design. And then we're going to dive into some tips for each of the energy types. But really, as you start to notice your human design more and how your energy operates, it's going to increase your self-awareness. It's going to improve your decision-making process, improve your relationships. I know Isla and Shelley have experienced that themselves. And it helps you live a more authentic life path, and enhances your productivity, reduces your stress, gives you clearer life direction, and really creates wellness in your mind, body, and spirit, and your ability to cultivate what you truly want in this lifetime and what's meant for you. So here are the tips, the key tips. I know we've advertised all these tips of how to align with your energy type, but we'll dive in. I'm going to start at the bottom with the projectors, because I know I've been starting at the top. Projectors. Number one question you can ask yourself to align with your energy type: what fascinates you today? So when you wake up in the morning and you feel that energy or don't feel that energy, but what's going to make you feel that energy to fascinate you that day, and follow it. You are a lighthouse as a projector, and you are here to be recognized for your value and insight. So really, that's why it's so important to kind of wait for that invitation before advising. But when you follow that passion of what fascinates you today, you're going to build that lighthouse where people are going to be drawn to you, to invite you, to share with them, to guide them. And really, as a projector, because you are a non-sacral being, your ideal output a day is only, say, about 2 to 4 hours. That's where it's tough with projectors, because I know a lot of them have, say, energetic conditioning. You got to do that 9-to-5 job, but really the projectors are, say, meant to be the managers per se, where they know how to guide the teams, guide the groups, and are able to put systems in place to work smarter, not harder. And it's very important for projectors to really prioritize rest in your body. My husband's a projector, my son's a projector, and I noticed that there's a difference, like a big difference when they get the rest versus when they don't get the rest. So it's really important for you to prioritize rest. One thing I'd love to note too about just any sacral, so generators, generators versus non-sacral beings. If you have children, this is a fun tip for nap time. The non-sacral beings, so the projectors, the manifestors, the reflectors, they need to take at least an hour before they truly are tired to settle down to take that nap or to go down to sleep for the night. Versus a generator, manifesting generator, once they're done for the day, they can just drop, go to bed. The manifestors, projectors, reflectors, they need to take time to kind of decompress and release from the day. So that's just another fun little side tip for the sacral versus non-sacral beings, especially if you have children. But those I've found it personally helpful with my 2-year-old. So I hope that works for somebody else. Yes, an hour before bedtime. You got it, Carla. Now let's dive into our generators, manifesting generators. Do what lights you up. Find what lights you up and do it. I know, especially with the generators and manifesting generators, they're constantly going. They got their schedules. They're going. They have 1,000 things going on in their day. Think of your day as a forest full of trees. You got a ton of trees in that forest, but there's some trees that are thriving and there's some trees that are dying. What are some of those trees or things that you have in your day that you can cut out and let go of to make space in your day to just leave that time open and wait to respond to what you love and do what lights you up in that open time of your day? So I really recommend and encourage a generator and a manifesting generator, as they think about their crazy days that they have and the amazing things that they do all day, to make time in their day to do something, at least one thing that really lights them up, and also space to also do nothing and wait to respond to what's around them with that yes, this lights me up right now, and you get to do that particular thing. With the generators, really asking yourself that yes or no question, that trying to get that or if that something is for you or not for you, and creating an open space for what feels expansive for you, and engaging in play. Manifesting generators as well too. You like to be in 1,000 things at one time. That's awesome. It's amazing for you, but take time to drop into your body and make sure that it feels good for you to be doing that many things. If it doesn't, take time to stop and play. Do what you love. Find something that you love and find that time for play. And last but not least, the manifestors. Inform. It's something I'm still on my energetic deconditioning journey, and that's something I'm still working on, informing, and then aligning to honor the, say, powerful bursts of energy and following the urges that you have versus the rest cycles. So I know informing is not easy. Carla, I have a book for you. I can share it with you. That it's by Holly Heiberg. She's a manifestor herself. And if you're married to a manifestor or have a close relationship to a manifestor or are a manifestor, I definitely recommend that book, because it is very helpful and insightful to just understand how to work and how to operate with your energy and use your strategy there. But know that you have to take breaks, just like the projectors. You have to honor your rest cycles. I personally, I'm in a little bit of a rest cycle right now, but I got the sparks, I got the energy for you guys. But yeah, it's not easy being in a world that it's corporate world, constant 9 to 5, go, go, go. And you gotta take time to honor your rest cycles and inform around them. So, do I have any reflectors on the call? I don't have any reflectors on the call. I'll let that go. All right. I know they're hard to come by, but these are really some key tips for your energy type and how to align with them. So I know we're at 8 o'clock here. Carla, we got to talk. I got lots of insights for you as a manifestor, but I know we are at 8 o'clock here, but I'm going to continue on. And if anybody needs to jump off, no worries. Note, this is recorded as well too. But really, this is wrapping it up here. Just the key ways that you can really start using your human design. And number one thing is practicing presence and listening to your body. We are constantly being pulled different ways from different people in our life, and constantly like have our minds racing even too of things that like we should be doing this, we should be doing that. But really dropping in, practicing presence and listening to your body and how your body feels. And then embracing being your own authority, embracing that you have the right to decide what you want to do and how you want to lead your life. And knowing that you have a beautiful energy and beautiful gifts to share, and that when you connect with that and you follow that, you're going to magnetize what's best for you around you. And so start to recognize when you're feeling your signature and you're not self-themed. So whether it's that satisfaction and frustration, that peace versus anger, or that success versus bitterness of our projectors. I know my husband gets bitter, but yeah, really just starting to notice when you get those different feelings and think about, okay, well, where are we at? How can we like adjust what we're doing and say realign to what's meant for our energy? And really, I welcome you to start experimenting with using your strategy and authority. So start, just give it, even if it's like just a couple decisions a day, do what feels right for you. Or if you want to go all in, go for like a week straight, see if you can start just navigating the way you operate life with your strategy and authority, and see how things shape up for you. See how you start to notice those signature, not self-themed feelings, and just begin to kind of create awareness around where you might have some conditioning of where you've taken in things in your life, and ways that you can journey to align with your true, say, energetic nature. And then I would love to have any of you, if you are interested in learning more about your unique energy types. I do human design readings. So I have the foundational level 1 readings, which will really dive in a little bit deeper to your energy type, strategy, authority. We'll go over all of your energy centers in addition to your profile, and we'll give you tips on really how to work with your energy there. If you are already kind of working with your strategy and authority, then you can look into the gifts reading or the variables reading. The gifts reading dives into all of the gates, how they coordinate with the celestial signs and the channels, and your incarnation cross, which is essentially like your theme, your life purpose of where your soul how your soul chose you to come and show up in this lifetime. And the variables reading, which I always love doing, that's definitely a deeper layer of human design, but it's looking at your strategy, authority, and your PHS variables. So going into the gifts, going into the variables, you want to be already working with your strategy and authority before you go into those. But essentially, your variables are the way your energy operates in terms of how your digestion works, what's the best environment for you. So your digestion, for example, is not just the way you digest food, but the way you digest information. So for example, my digestion is indirect light. So the best way that I digest information is with low lamp lighting, kind of like how you see around me, but also the best way for me to digest food is in a low lighting environment as well too. So that's just one example of one of the many variables that there are and kind of how they operate. But once you get deeper into learning your human design and working with your human design, that's another way that you can incorporate human design from a wellness perspective into how you say eat your food. And that can really help you unlock some deeper wellness in the way your energy operates. I also have the relationship reading. So whether it's a love relationship, business partnership, or any sort of partnership, really, we can certainly do a reading and dive into how your energies function together. And I'm just announcing today, I'm launching what is the Abundantly You community. So this is a community that I've created on Circle. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that platform, but it's basically a platform for where I can release, I have a bunch of information, insights, not only about human design, but also about feng shui, as I also practice feng shui. And it has a lot of different tips of how you can work with your energy, how you can work with feng shui energy in your house, and how we can unlock those basically different, how you can kind of like navigate in your journey and just be in a community that understands what human design is and talk about different ideas around it. I'm also going to have monthly calls where we'll talk about different topics of, say, what the energy is for that month, tips of how to navigate the energy for that month, things of that nature. But if anybody's interested in that community, definitely let me know. I'd love to share it with you. Not knowing your birth time. So I saw a question come through on that. And yeah, any questions you guys have right now, feel free to share them through. And I can definitely hit those off the top of my head. But if you don't know your birth time, the first place I'd recommend looking is on your birth certificate. It should include your birth time. If it does not show up on your birth certificate, try asking a family member and seeing if that family member might be aware of what your birth time is. The last way, if both of those, I think it's, if you were born before 1974, your birth time might not be on your birth certificate, or sometimes if you were born outside the US, it might not be on your birth certificate. So sometimes you can call the hospital. Sometimes there's different ways. There's actually, I have to find their name, but there's a person who is able to channel when you were born. I know that sounds a little bit out there, but I've heard about it. It's definitely something that's happened. So yeah, that's a couple different ways that you can find out your birth time if you are interested in learning. And any other questions? I know I really appreciate you all being here. And I know Isla and Shelley, you are amazing and hosting this with me and just creating community around human design. This is some information about me, information about Isla and Shelley. And if anybody has any questions, I would love to have you reach out. I'm always here and always love talking about human design.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashley. We really appreciate it. Just trying to offer things to help enrich people's lives. And this has definitely been helpful for me and Dr. Isla as well. So I hope you guys found it as, helpful as we did.
Thank you. It was very enjoyable
Yes, thank you so much.
and
You're
insightful.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Have a beautiful holiday season.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Your designs, I think you hit that. Yeah, that's it.